All right, Mayor Flex, thanks for allowing us into your office today. We're talking about the recent comments that were made on social media from the Vicksburg fire chief and as well as one of his other workers. What do you have to say to the people here in the city of Vicksburg?
First of all, let me just say there were two employees, one white and one black, that posted some comments was distasteful, disrespectful, and offensive to a lot of people. And on behalf of the citizens of the city of Vicksburg, in which I'm mayor of this city, I apologize for our employees. But at the same time, I have laws that I have to abide by, and that is I have to look at whether violation as relates to their First Amendment right, and did they violate in our social media policy. And I'm in the process of doing that. But I can say this, is that if it was police brutality, if it was any type of brutality or anything that had to do with an action, and we would have taken and would take immediate action. But to govern ourselves, or how that people govern themselves on social media, I have to adhere to first the First Amendment right, and secondly, I have to make certain that there are no violation of our policy. But out of this, I know to this day that we're finding that our policy is not restricted enough, it's too broad. I've talked to some professional lawyers that handle these type cases, and that they speak to me that we need to revise our social media policy, and we're going to do that.
What does that look like for the city of Vicksburg? People, if you look on social media, people are upset, they're emotional at this time because of the time that we're in. And what we're seeing in America right now.
Well, first of all, it's embarrassing. Secondly, the people have a right to vet or to express their displeasure of what they see on social media. We don't have a right to those people to stop or try to restrict them. That's the First Amendment right. The freedom of speech. You have a right to that. What we have to do is, when there's a law being violated, we have to step in. So my apology on behalf of the citizens of Vicksburg as mayor, and at the same time, I think I cannot get in the way of people want to speak their opinion. It's no different than Drew Brees and what he said and had to come back and retract. Things happen. People say things. I've said things that was offensive in my political career that I wish I've never said before. I regret it, but just so happened it was during time when social media was not a part of the political correctness of a state. But now it's out there. So we have to be very careful on what we say. The leaders of our cities, the leaders of our state, the leaders of our nation, and at the same time, people. Two wrongs don't make a right. We still, in the aftermath, in the day that we buried George Floyd, have to be remindful that wrong is wrong and right is right. And Dr. Martin Luther King said, and he said it better than I can say, injustice is a threat to justice anywhere. So, and that's what he meant. So we have to adhere. But he also said it's always right to do what's right. And we have to do what's right for white folk, by white folk, for black folk, for black folks at the same time. We have to be fair in our assessment. We have to be fair in our judgment. And so we're looking at everything so that at the end of the day, we've done what we thought that we would correctly do. But if this was brutality, if this was some form of action, we won't be talking about just social change. We'll be taking action.
Now, a lot of people are looking for the chief to speak on his behalf. Is that something that we can expect within the next day or a couple of days?
At this point, while it's under the investigation, I advise the chief to not speak, and I encourage him to not say nothing. But at the end of us determining what is the corrective action, I think, as anybody else, will speak. I won't limit that, but I'm just trying to make certain now that we get all the information before we allow him to go forward on anything. I've told him to continue to be the chief, continue to do his job. I've spoken to him personally. I think all the aldermen, the other two aldermen, are speaking to him, and we'll govern ourselves accordingly.
What's next for the city of Vicksburg?
Well, we got to look at this, and we have to look at the context of this, and we have to make this decision that's in the best interest of the city. But at the same time, I keep telling folks all the time, we have to look at whether or not people violate law and whether they violate constitutional rights or those type things. But we have to also be respectful of people, individual. Right? You talk about the chief in his leadership role speaking, but we also have another employee that spoke in his role too. So we have two fractions that are going on. We have to deal with both of them. One from a white man and one from a black man, and both of them was distasteful, disrespectful, and unacceptable.
And like you say, to the employees, just saying for the people that are watching, you are handling this the way you know.
Absolutely, because under the guidelines of the state of Mississippi disciplinary policies of an employee, it we consider a personnel matter, and we should handle them in executive session, and we should not call names.
Yes.
That's it.